Welcome back to This is VANCOLOUR. My name is Amir, and as promised, I'm back with our featured guest today, Municipal Affairs reporter for CBC Vancouver, one of my favorite people, Justin McElroy. Justin, thanks for sticking around.
Absolutely, Mo.
So we've been talking about the municipal elections throughout BC this year. Saturday, October 15th, they're happening all across the province. But let's zoom in to a few key municipalities. Now, back in October, the mayor of Victoria, Lisa Helps, announced that she would not be seeking a third mayoral term. Mayor Helps has been a voice for progressive social justice issues. So when we look at the possibilities of who might replace her, will they need to fit in that similar mold, or are there other factors where the city of Victoria might be looking for something different in their next mayor?
Yeah, so there's a couple different questions that will determine that. One is just how many people vote, right? Lisa Helps was popular. Victoria is, for the last 30, 40 years, a center-left or just straight-left city when you look at who it elects on a municipal, provincial, federal level. But if there ends up being one person to be sort of Helps' successor, in a sense, or runs on advancing the same causes that she did, whereas there's 2, 3, 4, 5 people that run against her in a sense that they say everything in Victoria has gotten worse, and crime is bad, and traffic is bad, and we're building too much, and we need to get back down to basics, that Helps successor could win with 30, 35% of the vote. So that's going to be part of it. And then the other part of it is just frankly, the charisma and the organizational skills of whoever runs. Lisa Helps was a force. She advocated very fiercely for what she believed in. She was good with both sound bites and with larger policy issues. She was a formidable campaigner, and people underestimated her at their peril. And so whoever steps up this time, it's more of a blank slate, although, it's going to be maybe a battle of counselors, but that's going to be a big question of how these people, once they're thrust fully in the public spotlight where everyone's focusing on them, how they manage to go up or down in people's approval levels that maybe they didn't think about so much when they were just counselors.
Mm-hmm. Now, moving to Surrey, which I feel like could have its own dedicated show, kind of complicated politics to outsiders, it feels like. There's a very divided city council, a very divided city over the creation of a local police force, the Surrey Police Service, to replace the Surrey RCMP. Surrey Mayor Doug McCallum is facing a criminal public mischief charge after he made a report to the RCMP that someone had run over his foot with a car in a parking lot. Tall task here, Justin, but can you please set the board and explain where the battle lines will be drawn in Surrey's municipal election?
Yeah, Surrey's politics are very normal. So there's a few questions that will be on the table that have to be addressed. One is whether Doug McCallum runs again. He says that he wants to, that he's raring to go. There's going to be the question of whether he changes his mind, whether it's because of poor polling or any personal decisions, or perhaps if the Safe Surrey Coalition, the people that support him on the party, sort of gently nudge him out of the way. We don't know that question yet. The other question is, again, similar to Victoria. How many people run against him, and do they split the vote? We know that Brenda Locke, a Surrey councillor who ran on McCallum's slate, then abruptly left it just a few months in, would like to run, is planning on running against him with this new Surrey Connect slate. We know that Surrey MP Sue Dhaliwal, very popular Liberal who has been elected 3 different times, is considering a bid as well. So those dynamics need to be set up. And then the other one is just what this gets run on. If it's about the police and if it's about what McCallum was able to do there and SkyTrain, that might be a difficult sell for voters because the last election was on it. The SkyTrain is coming to Langley. The provincial government has been really hesitant to even open up by a window the possibility of reversing course for a local police force. But if they're able to make it either about McCallum specifically and his conduct, or a question of where Surrey is going from here and exciting people on that was a big reason McCallum won in the first place, that he was able to excite people on the fact that I'm going to give you a SkyTrain, I'm going to give you a local police force. The details were sort of sketchy on both, but he made them happen. If anyone challenging him can have another version for Surrey building on that or having other things to excite voters, that'll be interesting to watch for.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a wild one. And lastly, of course, the city of Vancouver seems to have a head start with most of their mayoral candidates already announcing their run before this year, including incumbent Mayor Kennedy Stewart, the NPA's John Coupar, Ken Sim, who lost the 2018 mayoral election by about 1,000 votes, Mark Marison, a lot of dudes here, possibly Colleen Hardwick, maybe a candidate from Vision Vancouver. We're seeing new parties, but tied to last year's election, a Better City, Progress Vancouver, Kennedy Stewart's new party, renewed parties. Vision Vancouver going to stage a comeback. Team might be back. Old parties, of course, like Cope and the Greens. Will this be...
I only have two hands, Mo. I cannot go more than 10 at a time.
There's a lot of choices is what I'm saying. Will this be a sequel to 2018 where Vancouver has a buffet of choices, a super long ballot, and the core issue will still be housing? Or is there a new dimension to this race?
Yeah, no, I think it will be pretty much that. I think because there's an incumbent running, you will have that focus on that in a way that we didn't in 2018 when Gregor Robertson wasn't running again. But look, you're going to have that huge buffet of choices, it looks like. And it means that even though Kennedy Stewart, it's not that a lot of people think that he's great. You know, I think most people would call him a C-plus mayor if you went through the average of grades.
Not him, though. He didn't give himself a C-plus.
No, I mean, no politician ever would. That would be silly. But if no one runs to his left, and you have all these folks running to his right on a more status quo, preservationist, reverse some of the ideas that the city is going, then you could have that same vote split again. It's not like Stewart got in by a huge amount last time. So there's going to be that question. There's going to be the question of whether the parties to the right can sort of consolidate, can agree on a certain number of councillors that they're putting forward. And then it's going to be a question of people, of how to get people, essentially, if no one runs to Stewart's left, of making those folks that ordinarily would support what the mayor and what this council on Fits and Starts is trying to do, enthusiastic, not only voting, but campaigning and getting their friends out for voting, of saying, look, the way Vancouver is going is good. We need to keep going on this direction. We just need one or two more councillors on the table so we don't have quite as many marathon meetings, and we can get through more of our agenda than happens right now, where a lot of things end up going back to committee or studies on top of studies on top of studies. Right. But it's going to be interesting because, again, it's not like there's a lot of enthusiasm for Stewart at this point in time, but also a pathway for other people to win other than him. It's going to be complicated because of just how many opposition parties there are out there.
Mm-hmm. Now, really quickly, 15 seconds or less, is there a municipality that you, Justin McElroy, will be watching on October 15th with very keen eyes?
There's 162 municipalities in this province, and 161 of them have people. Apologies to Jumbo Glacier. Look it up. They're all good. It's going to be an exciting night. It all happens at once, and I can't wait to see exactly what the new makeup of this province's municipal politicians looks like.
Justin, you are a gem. I think you're single-handedly making municipal politics sexy. You're doing what you did for charts, but for city halls all over BC. I can't wait to debrief with you when this is all over. So thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mo.
Folks, that was CBC Vancouver's municipal affairs reporter, Justin McElroy, one of the best in the business and one of the best follows on Twitter. Now, don't go anywhere because I have some thoughts. After the break, I'm going to take a moment. My name is Mo Amir. This is VANCOLOUR.